Hey guys, welcome to the chromatic practice. Hope you're doing well. Excited to be here with you today and to share this experience with you. Today's class I want to dedicate to the importance of discipline and taking constant action, staying consistent with our practice, so we can find balance between the forces of nature, the rajas and tamas, the pushing and pulling energy, so we can experience the feeling of oneness, of a sattvic state, the stillness in our own minds more often. In the Yoga Sutra 1.14 to 1.16, Patanjali is referring to abhyasa and vairagya, which can be translated to intentional effort over a long period of time, all while having no attachment to the results of our actions. The ability to let go of the fruits, the desire of our efforts. Yeah, when we practice yoga, especially in a physical way, we often gravitate towards poses and actions that come easy to us, where we don't face much resistance. For example, when you start doing gymnastics as a little kid and you train to do the splits or hand balances very early in your life and trained and continued while you're growing up, you will not face much resistance in poses that are maybe very difficult for other people. You will gravitate, of course, to this more easy stuff for you. But when we face physical challenges, we have the resistance to overcome, a challenge to overcome. We tend to run away or avoid them. It's often in these moments that we face a resistance response of flight, of running away. Usually because a weakness is exposed in ourselves. So yeah, of course, that's totally understandable as a human being, to avoid that things or those things. Yeah, so usually in yoga or generally in the universe, when you merge things together, when you unite them, there will be a friction. There will be fire that is created, like when you rub two sticks together to light up a bonfire to get that spark. There's this friction, so you can transform the wood into energy through fire. And the same does the yogi, constantly using the tools of asana, of pranayama to ignite the fires of transformation within the body and the mind. This friction, the heat we create is unite is called the tapas energy. As yogis, especially beginners, we have to learn to endure the intensity of the heat long enough so the flame of transformation can ignite within the body, within the mind. And not only that, but to find peace, to find stillness in the fire, in the heat, and to understand that at the end of the intensity, there's this magnificence of growth, of transformation. So to embrace it, to say yes, bring on the fire, bring on the storm, bring on the challenge, bring on the adversity. Having the perception that that the challenge is there to grow us. It's only there to help us to unlock our potential that might be dormant in ourselves. So we need the resistance, we need the struggle, we need to suffer to grow sometimes. Think about a blacksmith who wants to transform a chunk of metal into a weapon, into a sword. He needs to throw the metal into the fire long enough so it gets this heat and this temperature, so you can forge it more easy because it's more bendable, and bring it into the form of that weapon. And he needs to repeat that process over and over again. It's not a one-time thing. He always has to put it back into the fire and get it heat more up, and then bang out it again, and use his skills. And then he over a long period of time, over the process, he will create that beautiful weapon. And that is this constant abhyasa, this constant practice. This repetitious action. So yeah, so do you have the discipline to take constant action, to go and stand in the fire of the uncomfort, of the intensity long enough so you can experience that growth, that transformation to a cure? So after our practice now, after we went into the fire, through the friction, through the heat of the poses, of the actions, can we find the discipline of constant action, bringing this practice into our lives? So we find the balance between the forces of nature. So you find the stillness, the oneness, the sattvic state more often. So my TTL phrase is: do you have the discipline of taking constant action to go and stand in the fire of uncomfort and intensity long enough so growth and transformation can occur? Yeah, my TTL phrase will be used, or I will be use it in the first child's pose, while gripping the ground with the fingers, lifting my armpits up, my shoulder blades together, getting the first activation in our back muscles. The second pose will be the first downward facing dog. The third pose in the first chair pose, while stretching, stretching the pectoral muscles, open up the front shoulders, holding my hands together behind my back. The third pose will be in the first humble warrior, also with the arms behind the back and stretching up the front body, activating the back body. And the last time, the last pose, the fifth pose, will be the peak pose of the bow pose, the full bow pose. Maybe between the 2 or 3 rounds we do it, so people can also concentrate on the physical part of the exercise. That's my use of the TTL phrase throughout my class.